My name is Kayla Smith, and I'm here with Dr. Robert Reid. Today is December 22nd, 2009, and we are conducting an interview for my World War II class. Can you state your name and when you were born?
I'm Dr. Robert Reid, R-E-I-D, and born on August 21st, 1924, which makes me 85.
Happy belated birthday again.
Oh, thank you.
Where were you born?
Philadelphia.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes. No, I don't have any siblings. No.
Okay.
I thought you asked about our siblings, because I answered that question once with you already. No, we have 5 kids.
5 kids. What did your parents do?
My father was an insurance company man and worked his way up to the top and got promoted almost every year. So we lived in a different place almost every year because I was young enough that I figured I better go with him. So that's what he did, Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
What was it like when you were growing up? Like, compared to now, I guess?
It's snow. No, this comparison isn't difficult. They had automobiles, but some of them were a little funky. And we lived in Long Island for quite a while, and then in Virginia, and then Pittsburgh, and Boston, and then let's see, the last place we lived was Chicago, Illinois, and that's where I went to school, medical school. I was in the Army then.
Do you remember the Great Depression?
Yeah. I didn't work very hard in it, but my father did. Yeah. We talked about it some. I was probably only about 8 or 10, so I really didn't understand it exactly.
Well, I guess back then, what was your first thought about Hitler?
I was mostly heard of his name, and they had moving pictures of him. So at most movie theaters, so everybody gets exposed to the fact that there was such a man, and some of what he did.
Do you think that we should have gotten into the war?
Probably. It's a little difficult to give you an absolute answer. But on the other hand, Roosevelt sort of worked with the British, and we went into the war unbeknownst to many people that it was sort of planned for a while.
Can you tell me, like, about rationing?
Yeah, you get coupons, little books of coupons every year, or every month or week, whatever it was. And you get so many eggs and you get so many shoes and whatever. So if you wanted to buy anything, you had to have a coupon book with little stamps in it that you took out and gave to whoever was selling things to you. This was mainly noticeable in gasoline. If you had a car, you're lucky if you could get gasoline. And we used to put kerosene and such things, extras in cars in order to make them run better. So that the effect of that, though, was felt in most things that you bought. Even milk, ice cream, things like that. You'd need more stamps to get it.
So where was the last place that where were you living when you were in high school?
Chicago, Illinois, or just north of Chicago.
So, is that where you were when Pearl Harbor happened?
Yeah. Exactly.
What was your first thought?
Well, I said I was there. I was at the University of Illinois by then, in college. And we went, some other guys and I went to a movie, came back to where we lived, and everybody was all excited about Pearl Harbor, and we hadn't known about it. It occurred while we were at the movie. So everybody got excited, and a lot of people, within the next 6 months, most of the men signed up to get in the Army or whatever.
When did you sign up?
February of 1942.
And how old were you?
I was 17.
Wow, young.
Yeah. Well, I went to college when I was 16.
But that was normal for you guys to sign up like that?
Well, I graduated from high school early.
Oh, okay. After you enlisted, where did you go? Where did you sign? What did you do?
Well, we signed up in the Army or whatever. Some people signed up in the Navy, who joined. But anyway, I signed up in the Army, and then they sent us to basic training at Army camps. So I was sent from Chicago to Wisconsin, and then had basic training there. Basic training being running, shooting, all sorts of things. A lot of unpleasant things, like peeling potatoes all one day.
Make sure you can be good at it.
Yeah, right.
Was it easy to make friends in the Army and
Yeah,
did you make
some
a lot
of my
friends?
best friends still remain.
Mhm.
We use the internet, email back and forth, even now.
That's cool.
Where did you go after you went to training?
From there, I was sent to medical school in Chicago, at the University of Illinois. It was in Chicago.
How long did you take to go through med school?
4 years.
And
And
then,
then 2 years of internship, 4 years of residency. And then I was through the training.
how did it help you, during the war? What were you doing helping? Where were you?
I was an internship in a hospital where I took care of sick people, injured people. So,
Do you remember where you were on DDay?
oh yes, downtown Chicago, everybody rushed to the cities, closest cities, and I was the closest to Chicago. A lot of people are closer to New York, of course. But everybody was really out of it. Just excited as could be. Well, I remember a lot of people had lost their husbands and wives and anybody in the service. So people were pretty excited over that.
Did you know any people that went off in the Army or Navy and did not come back or anything?
Oh yeah, quite a few. Quite a few fraternity brothers. I was in a men's fraternity. So a lot of them, almost half the fraternity was gone the next year after enlisting.
What was going through your mind on D-Day? The invasion of Europe and all that, what were you thinking?
Well, how great it was that the war was over. Europe was VE Day, that's what we called that. And then the Pacific was another name, all through all the islands.
Do you have any stories you'd like to share from any experience you had during the war?
Well, not an awful lot. I know I'm probably unhappy over that, At least I should have killed somebody, but no.
No. That's okay.
No, but no, we had a lot of training. That was hard work. They spent 30-mile hike, had 30-mile hikes with packs on your back, and then part of our training was going under barbed wire, about that high off your back, crawling on the ground while they shoot over your head. Yeah. They never hit anybody that I know of.
Jeez.
This was our side.
I was just gonna ask,
Be
did
very good
anybody
if
get
it
hit?
No, supposedly not. There were stories about people getting hit, but I didn't believe them.
Even if they did get hit, they probably wouldn't want you to know about it.
Right.
They wouldn't say anything.
They'd probably be like, trust us. You can trust us.
It's okay.
Do you remember when they first dropped the atomic bomb?
Yeah, sure.
What was that like for you? Like, what did you think about it?
Well, I was kind of upset over the idea because I didn't think we really needed to blow up Japan. But on the other hand, you had the other feeling that if you didn't do that, they were going to get you. So, yeah, well, it was big time stuff and scary stuff. Well, a lot of guys were going through all the Pacific Islands and fighting with Japanese. Japanese are fighting with us in turn. So it was quite a big deal.
So,
But I was fortunate enough not to be anywhere near any serious problems.
you just took care of like some soldiers that came home and...
Oh yeah. Well, also we had German prisoners where I was, in the camp where I was, so they were taken care of by us.
Did any of them that you know like speak English or anything? Did you ever talk to
Oh
any
yeah,
of them?
some of them, yeah. And I spoke a little German, and they spoke English, so talked back and forth some.
Do you remember anybody?
Any what, German?
Or no, any German prisoners or anything?
Well, I got a picture in my mind of a number of them that I talked to. They ran the cafeteria at that point. So if you wanted lunch or dinner, you went through the line and got from him or whoever was on duty. So I remembered them, but it isn't something I thought was great, but they were working there. They had a good deal. As Germans, they were able to just bring out the food and probably ate themselves, I guess, too. That was that. But I don't know if there's anything else you wanted about that. The Germans, I used to try to practice my German on them, but
How did that work out?
well, they did very well. I didn't do so well. Well, I did okay, and I took German in college and French in college, too.
I'm taking Spanish, so...
Oh, well, that's good. My wife speaks Spanish fluently because her father built oil refineries all over the western U.S. and Mexico and Argentina and all the islands offshore. And so she got moved there every year or so whenever her father got moved around. So she speaks the Spanish and I stutter the German.
That's good though.
Yeah. But she also speaks Dutch because she was living on a Dutch island. At one time when they built the biggest oil refinery that Shell made or built in the Western world.
So you were home for the war, but
No, I was in the army camps.
yeah.
There's a difference, but I didn't get any real difficulties. Didn't have any difficulties I couldn't handle, but it wasn't pleasant, but because you know people that last year you were with and this year they're gone.
Mm-hmm. What was it like to see soldiers coming back from fighting or anything like that?
Well, it made you feel sad, especially when you saw how beat up some of them were. But on the other hand, we won the war. At that point, that's what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was justified, the war. Not that I was pleased over it at all, but... So, anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
About 15 more minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
At least. Did you write to any friends after they...
Yeah, my girlfriend, who turned out to be my wife. Yeah.
Did you keep in contact with any soldiers who were in the Pacific or over in Europe?
Yep. I kept track of some in Europe, and then wrote after the war, we wrote back and forth. And then when I was resident in medicine, after the war, but before I went into practice, we kept up back and forth with people who we knew from the war. Because most everybody was in it, one way or another. And so that gave you something to keep up with. Still have some people I write at Christmas time usually.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of Christmas cards? Or?
Well, we get a few. And I don't know how many we get, but quite a bit it seems to me.
How did you, well, did you keep up with the war with like newspapers and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, I got a lot of newspapers still.
You do?
Yeah.
Cool.
Huh?
Cool.
Yeah.
You still have them?
Yeah. Headlines, when Kennedy was shot, and a lot of other things too, headline things, and some of the war things.
Could we see them sometime?
I imagine I could arrange it.
We have a whole week off of school, so we have a bunch of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, next week.
Uh-huh, okay. Well, you give me a call on some weekend, and I'll arrange to bring some of the headlines,
I'm
some
sure
of the
my,
papers.
I'm sure my history teacher would like it.
Huh?
Miss
Okay.
Roselle would think it's
How old is the history teacher? Roughly.
Roselle, he's
42.
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Roselle, I know that name.
Yeah.
There's some Roselles all around the country.
Matt Roselle.
Yeah.
He loves history.
Uh-huh. What?
He started the whole World War II class.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you'd like, I can get you the papers.
That'd be cool. That'd be good.
I want them back. My own kids will want them.
You can have them back.
Thank you.
Do you remember where you were and what you were doing when the war ended?
Not specifically to the moment, but the same day. Everybody heard about it one way or another and rushed down to the closest city here. Like, as I said, I was right near Chicago because I was taking care of people then, right next to Chicago. So everybody ran down, and it was pretty exciting.
What was the first thing you did after you found out?
Went to Chicago from where I was. I was out on the outskirts of it, but it was, everybody was there. Everybody was around anywhere. And lots of people were hugging and kissing and so crying.
I bet that was a good feeling to know that it was finally over.
Oh yeah, you betcha. Yep. Excuse me.
How did you feel about FDR?
I had mixed feelings. A very smart man, and he did things well, and did a lot of things helpful to the poor. And on the other hand, he set himself up in extra terms as a president. He went to 4 terms, or was working on 4 terms. And that had been against the law up until then.
Mm-hmm.
You could only run for 3 terms, if I remember correctly.
So when he died, what did you think? How did it affect you?
I felt badly, because he had done a lot, and he tried very hard, and he got everything straightened around before the war pretty well for a lot of people. And then after the war, he was still helping out and trying to get people back into working and so forth.
That's good.
Yeah, well, he was a hard worker. As a side note, on our 20th anniversary, my wife and I got invited to Hyde Park, where one of the Roosevelt girls was marrying someone who lived in our area. And that family invited us to go with them. So we got married, had an anniversary, with dancing with the Roosevelts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
No.
Were you married when the war ended, or did you get married after?
We got married the day I graduated from medical school, which was 1947. So, got married 4 hours after I got my degree as a doctor.
Why did you purposely set it up that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. What was it like transitioning back into civilian life after being away for so long and being in the Army camps?
Well, by then I was doing my residency and internship in medicine in hospitals. So I'd learned the basics of most things that have to do with medicine. But what was the original question to this?
What was it like transitioning back into like?
Yeah. I didn't feel there was any problem in transitioning because I was already transit. I was already in medicine, doing what I was always going to do, and so I didn't have a hard time.
So keeping that same routine helped you kind of cope through the war with dealing everything?
Yeah, that would be partially correct.
Is there anything that did help you to cope, or did you just have the mindset that you had to do it?
Yeah, I had to do whatever we had to do.
What did you think of the GI Bill?
Well, that was pretty good because I was on it.
So that's what
So,
helped you through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the expenses of medical school was very expensive. Becoming a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So, the GI Bill helped me a lot on that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have become a doctor if there was no GI Bill?
Yeah, because I started with that intent when I was 16, when I graduated from high school and started college. And that was early. But no, I had no intention of not doing it.
You were determined then?
Yeah.
How about we pause for a few minutes?
What'd you say?
How about we pause for a few minutes?
Yeah, okay. What'd you do, run out of film?
No.